The rain hammered against the window of my office, each drop a tiny drumbeat against the silence. Lila Monroe's disappearance had turned the city into a symphony of dread. Sal DiMarco, a wisp of a man, had delivered the news just an hour ago, his voice trembling like a leaf caught in a storm. Gone, Mr. Harding. Vanished from her Crestwood estate. Crestwood, Blackwood's fortress, the place where I'd felt the suffocating weight of money and secrets pressing down on me. I'm not a man who relishes danger, but a sense of obligation and a healthy dose of suspicion kept me tied to this mess. Lila was a viper, no doubt, but she was a viper in distress, and distress, in my experience, often masks the deeper truth. I drained the last of the whiskey from my glass, to burn a welcome distraction from the chill that had settled in my bones. Blackwood. He was a man carved from granite, his face unreadable, his intentions opaque. He had hired me to find Arthur, his brother-in-law, a man deeply entangled with shadows I couldn't quite grasp. Now, Lila was gone too, a convenient escalation or a desperate plea. Give me a car, Sal, I said, my voice rough, and tell them to step on it. The Crestwood estate was even more imposing in the rain. The stone gates loomed like sentinels, the manicured lawns glistening under the weak light. A pair of men in dark suits stood guard at the entrance, their faces blank, their eyes cold. They didn't speak, they didn't move, they simply observed. I didn't need an invitation. I walked past them, the gravel crunching under my shoes. Inside, the house was a museum of wealth and despair. The air was thick with the scent of expansive perfume and unspoken anxieties. A maid, her face pale and drawn, led me to the drawing room. Blackwood was there, as expected, seated in a leather armchair, a glass of brandy in his hand. He didn't bother to rise. Mr. Harding, he said, his voice smooth and controlled. To what do I owe this urgency? My client is missing, I said, cutting to the chase. Lila Monroe. Where is she? He took a slow sip of his brandy, his eyes fixed on me. I am aware of the situation. The police have been notified. The police? I scoffed. You think the police are capable of finding her? They are conducting an investigation, he said, his voice unwavering. I'm conducting an investigation, I countered, and I prefer to work outside the constraints of official procedure. He didn't reply, but the subtle tightening of his jaw told me I'd struck a nerve. She was distraught last night, he finally said, his voice tinged with a hint of concern. Arthur's dealings, they were unsettling her. Dealings with whom? I pressed. He hesitated. With certain collectors, of antiquities. And what kind of antiquities? Egyptian, primarily. He was fascinated by them. The hieroglyphic locket, the key to it all, I suspected. Arthur had been obsessed with it, convinced it held some secret. A secret that someone wanted to keep buried. I spoke to the staff, I said, my gaze sweeping the room. No one saw her leave. She may have left without notifying anyone, Blackwood suggested. Or someone took her, I said, my voice low. Someone who doesn't want the truth to come out. I noticed something then, a faint discoloration on Blackwood's sleeve. Crimson, almost invisible against the dark fabric, but unmistakable. What's that on your cuff, Mr. Blackwood? I asked, my hand instinctively moving towards my holster. He glanced down, his expression unreadable. A wine stain, I believe. It looks a little darker than wine, I said, my eyes fixed on the stain. He didn't answer. Instead, he rose from his chair and walked to the window, his back to me. The rain continued to lash against the glass, blurring the lights of the city. I believe you're withholding information, Mr. Blackwood, I said, my voice hardening. And I don't tolerate deception. He turned slowly, his eyes cold and calculating. You're playing a dangerous game, Mr. Harding. You're not equipped to handle the forces at play here. Maybe not, I said, but I'm not backing down. Suddenly, a voice came from behind me. Mr. Harding. I turned to see Sal standing in the doorway, his face pale with fear. I have found something, he stammered. In the gardens. I followed him outside, the rain soaking me to the bone. He led me to a small shed, hidden amongst the overgrown bushes. He opened the door, and I saw it. A single, muddy footprint. A woman's footprint. And beside it, a discarded Egyptian amulet, intricately carved with hieroglyphs. A gift, perhaps, from the collector. A grim reminder of the darkness that had swallowed Lila Monroe. A chill deeper than the rain settled over me. I was no longer just searching for a missing woman. I was stepping into a viper's nest, and I had a feeling that I was next. The game had changed, and I was a pawn in a deadly game, controlled by forces I couldn't even begin to comprehend. I looked back at the house. Blackwood was watching me, his expression unreadable, but in his eyes I saw something else, a flicker of something akin to anticipation.